Imagine a town frozen in time. Buildings stand silent, windows like vacant eyes staring out at the empty street. The wind whistles through the gaps in the wood, the only sound breaking the silence. This is the haunting beauty of an Arizona ghost town. These deserted places dot the landscape, remnants of a bygone era. Each crumbling wall, each dusty window whispers a story of dreams chased and lives lived. These ghost towns are more than just abandoned buildings. They are time capsules offering glimpses into Arizona's vibrant past. They tell tales of boom and bust, of hardship and resilience. They remind us that even in the harshest environments, hope and ambition can flourish, even if only for a fleeting moment. Stepping into a ghost town is like stepping back in time. You can almost hear the echoes of laughter and the clinking of glasses. You can almost feel the energy of the prospectors, the determination of the shopkeepers, the dreams of a community carving out a life from the unforgiving desert. These towns, once filled with the hustle and bustle of life, now stand as silent witnesses to Arizona's captivating history. Their stories, etched in wood and stone, beckon us to listen, to remember, and to imagine the lives that once unfolded within their dusty streets. Join us now as we journey through time, exploring the captivating history of Arizona's ghost towns. Arizona, with its rugged beauty and unforgiving climate, has always been a land of extremes. Its history is a tapestry woven from threads of ambition, perseverance, and the enduring allure of striking it rich. The vast, sun-drenched landscapes, seemingly endless and unforgiving, hold within them the echoes of dreams chased and fortunes lost. It's a land where the promise of gold and silver lured prospectors from far and wide, where boomtowns rose from the dust almost overnight, only to fade just as quickly when the veins of ore ran dry. The story of Arizona's ghost towns is inextricably linked to the cycles of boom and bust that have shaped the state's identity. The discovery of precious metals in the late 19th century brought waves of hopeful souls eager to stake their claim in this untamed land. Towns sprang up around these newfound riches, fueled by the sweat and toil of miners seeking their fortune. Saloons, hotels, and general stores materialized from the dust, catering to the needs of these transient communities. Life was harsh, the desert unforgiving, but the lure of striking it rich kept the hope alive. However, the boomtowns, built on the unpredictable nature of mining, were often as fleeting as a desert mirage. As quickly as they rose, they could vanish, leaving behind only whispers of their former glory. The depletion of resources, coupled with fluctuating market prices and the harsh realities of desert living, led to the decline of many of these once thriving communities. Today, the remnants of these boomtowns stand as poignant reminders of a bygone era, their silence speaking volumes about the dreams that built them and the forces that led to their demise. The discovery of gold in California in 1849 ignited a fever that spread across the nation, captivating the imaginations of countless individuals. Its tendrils reached deep into the heart of the Arizona territory, drawing in those who dreamed of untold riches. Prospectors, driven by the allure of striking it rich, braved treacherous journeys and harsh conditions, often risking their lives in the process. Their eyes were fixed on the prize that lay hidden beneath the arid soil, a prize that promised to change their fortunes forever. Word of a new strike, whispered in saloons and spread through tattered newspapers, was enough to send these fortune seekers scrambling, eager to stake their claim. Their dreams were packed tight alongside their pickaxes and pans, ready for the arduous journey ahead. These early prospectors were a hardy breed, accustomed to hardship and fueled by a potent mix of ambition and desperation, qualities that defined their relentless pursuit. They toiled under the scorching desert sun, their picks ringing against the earth, each strike a testament to their determination. Searching for the telltale glint that promised a life-changing reward, they sifted through the dirt with unwavering focus. Each new discovery, whether a nugget gleaned from a stream bed or a vein of ore snaking through the mountains, breathed life into new settlements, sparking hope and excitement. Transforming desolate stretches of land into bustling centers of activity, these discoveries marked the birth of boomtowns. Tent cities materialized almost overnight, their canvas shelters providing meager protection from the elements but a sense of community and hope. These makeshift shelters were the first step in the evolution of these settlements, offering a temporary refuge for the weary prospectors. As word spread and more prospectors flocked to the area, these makeshift camps gradually gave way to more permanent structures, signaling the growth of a new community. Saloons, those ubiquitous symbols of frontier life, were often among the first businesses to appear, offering a much-needed respite from the dust and drudgery of mining. These establishments became the social hubs of the burgeoning towns, where miners could unwind and share stories of their exploits. Soon, general stores, boarding houses, and even newspapers followed, catering to the needs of a burgeoning population hungry for news, supplies, and a taste of home. These businesses provided essential services and a sense of normalcy in an otherwise chaotic environment. These hastily erected towns, carved from the unforgiving landscape, were rough-hewn and often lawless, their streets echoing with the sounds of commerce, celebration, and the occasional drunken brawl. Despite the rough exterior, these towns were vibrant places where life thrived in unexpected ways. Yet beneath the veneer of lawlessness, a sense of community thrived, forged in the crucible of shared dreams, hardships, and the constant struggle for survival. These communities were built on mutual support and the collective hope for a better future. These were places where fortunes could be made and lost in the blink of an eye, where the stakes were high and the rewards even higher. Life was lived on the edge of a knife, with danger and opportunity in equal measure, and where the promise of a better tomorrow kept hope flickering like a candle in the wind, guiding them through the darkest of times. The discovery of gold, silver, or copper was like striking a match near a pool of oil, igniting a frenzy that would forever change the landscape of the American West. News spread like wildfire, drawing prospectors, businessmen, and dreamers alike to the heart of the Arizona desert, each one hoping to carve out their own piece of fortune. These boomtowns, fueled by the relentless pursuit of riches, experienced a period of explosive growth, transforming almost overnight from sleepy outposts to bustling centers of commerce and activity. Buildings seemed to spring up overnight, transforming dusty plains into bustling hubs of activity, with new structures appearing as if by magic. The air vibrated with a frenetic energy, a palpable sense of excitement and possibility that was almost electric. The constant clang of hammers echoed through the streets as carpenters struggled to keep up with the demand for new homes, stores, and saloons, each nail driven with the hope of a prosperous future. Miners, their faces grimed with sweat and dirt, crowded the saloons each night, eager to spend their hard-earned wages on whiskey, gambling, and the fleeting companionship of dance hall girls, seeking a brief escape from their grueling labor. The streets, once desolate and silent, were now choked with wagons laden with ore, supplies, and new arrivals, each one adding to the town's growing sense of chaos and opportunity. Money flowed freely, changing hands over poker tables, saloon counters, and in shady backroom deals, fueling the town's rapid expansion and the dreams of its inhabitants. Land prices soared as speculators bought and sold plots of desert, betting on the town's continued prosperity and the promise of untold wealth. Every day seemed to bring new opportunities, new ventures, and new faces, all caught up in the intoxicating whirlwind of the boom, each one hoping to strike it rich. For a brief, glorious moment, it seemed as if the good times would last forever, with the town's future as bright as the gold that had sparked its creation. The desert, once a symbol of hardship and isolation, had transformed into a land of opportunity, where fortunes could be made with a single swing of a pickaxe or a lucky hand of cards, each moment filled with the promise of success. The boomtowns, born of dust and dreams, pulsed with a raw, untamed energy, their future as bright and limitless as the Arizona sky, each day a testament to the power of human ambition. But beneath the surface of this unbridled optimism, the seeds of decline were already being sown as the realities of life on the frontier began to take their toll. The boom, like a desert bloom, was as beautiful as it was fragile, destined to wither in the face of changing fortunes and the unforgiving realities of life on the frontier, leaving behind only memories and the echoes of a once vibrant past. The boom years were a time of intoxicating optimism. The promise of riches hung in the air, as tangible as the dust that coated everything. Stories of overnight fortunes whispered in saloons and printed in bold headlines fueled the dreams of prospectors and entrepreneurs alike. It was a time when it seemed like anyone with a bit of luck and a lot of grit could strike it rich. The allure of striking it rich was a powerful magnet, drawing people from all walks of life to the harsh realities of the Arizona territory. Educated men abandoned comfortable lives in the East, lured by the siren song of silver and gold. Farmers, weary of battling unpredictable weather and meager profits, packed their families and meager belongings, hoping to find their fortune in the earth. Shopkeepers, saloon owners, and dance hall girls followed the prospectors, recognizing the opportunity to cater to their needs and share in the newfound wealth. This influx of people, fueled by dreams of a better life, created a vibrant, if somewhat chaotic, society. Boomtowns were a melting pot of cultures and backgrounds, where languages from around the world mingled with the sounds of construction, commerce, and revelry. It was a time and place where social rules were often bent or broken, where fortunes were won and lost in the blink of an eye, and where the only constant was change. Yet, beneath the surface of this seemingly endless prosperity, a current of unease lurked. The boomtowns, built on the fickle foundation of mineral wealth, were inherently unstable. The supply of ore, once thought to be inexhaustible, was finite, and as quickly as the boom had begun, it could end, leaving behind empty buildings and shattered dreams. The boomtowns, for all their boisterous energy, were built on a precarious foundation. As long as the mines produced and the ore flowed, the towns thrived. But the very nature of mining, with its inherent cycles of discovery, extraction, and depletion, meant that the boom was never meant to last. The first whispers of trouble often arrived subtly. Perhaps a vein of ore ran thin, or the quality of the ore declined, making extraction less profitable. Word of these setbacks, initially confined to hushed conversations among miners and mine owners, would inevitably seep into the wider community. The once optimistic mood in the saloons might grow a bit more subdued. The flow of money, once a raging torrent, might slow to a trickle. Shopkeepers, sensing a shift in the air, might become more cautious about extending credit. The boomtown, once a place of boundless optimism, would begin to feel the first chills of an approaching winter. As the mines began to falter, so too did the fortunes of the towns they supported. The steady stream of new arrivals slowed to a trickle and then reversed, as people packed up their belongings and moved on to seek their fortunes elsewhere. Businesses, once overflowing with customers, struggled to stay afloat. The sound of hammers, once a constant symphony of progress, gave way to an unsettling silence. The decline of a boomtown was often as swift and dramatic as its rise. What was once a thriving hub of activity could, in a matter of months, transform into a ghost of its former self. The buildings, hastily erected during the boom years, began to show signs of neglect. Paint peeled, windows boarded up, and the once bustling streets fell silent, except for the sighing wind and the crunch of footsteps on the dusty ground. No journey through Arizona's ghost towns would be complete without a visit to Tombstone, a place where history leaps from the weathered wooden sidewalks and the wind whispers tales of gunfights and gold. The very air seems to carry the echoes of a bygone era. Born in the late 1870s amidst the rugged beauty of Cochise County, Tombstone rose from the dusty earth with the discovery of silver in the surrounding hills. This discovery was a beacon for those seeking fortune. Prospectors, drawn by the siren song of quick riches, flocked to this remote corner of Arizona, transforming a desolate landscape into a boom town practically overnight. The transformation was nothing short of miraculous. Saloons, gambling dens, and hotels sprang up to accommodate the growing population, their lights blazing late into the night, fueled by whiskey, ambition, and the ever-present possibility of striking it rich. The town was alive with the dreams of its inhabitants. The streets, crowded with miners, businessmen, gamblers, and ladies of the night, pulsed with an energy born of equal parts hope and desperation. Every corner of Tombstone buzzed with life. Fortunes were made and lost on a daily basis, and the line between right and wrong often blurred in the pursuit of wealth and power. The stakes were high, and the rules were few. But Tombstone was more than just a den of vice and violence. It was a community, albeit a rough and tumble one, striving to create a semblance of order in a chaotic world. Churches, schools, and even a theater were built, testaments to the desire for normalcy and the hope for a brighter future. The residents of Tombstone, despite the constant threat of danger, were determined to build a life for themselves and their families in this harsh and unforgiving land. Their resilience was remarkable. The legend of Tombstone, however, is forever intertwined with the gunfight at the OK Corral, a 30-second shootout on October 26, 1881, that cemented the town's place in Wild West lore. The gunfight, a culmination of tensions between lawmen and a group of outlaws known as the Cowboys, turned the streets red with blood and forever etched the names of Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, and the Clanton Gang into the annals of history. Tombstone's legacy endures, a testament to the wild spirit of the American West. The gunfight at the OK Corral, while brief and brutal, cast a long shadow over Tombstone. The shootout, a clash between law and disorder, became a microcosm of the town's own internal struggles. In the aftermath of the gunfight, Tombstone found itself caught between its desire for respectability and its reputation as a hotbed of lawlessness. The town's reputation, already tarnished by violence and corruption, suffered a further blow. Eastern newspapers, eager for sensational stories from the Wild West, painted Tombstone as a lawless den of iniquity. Tourists, drawn by the allure of the dangerous and exotic, flocked to the town, eager to see for themselves the place where legends were made and blood was spilled in the streets. But even as Tombstone grappled with its infamy, the forces that would ultimately lead to its decline were already at work. The silver mines, the lifeblood of the town's economy, were beginning to play out. New discoveries in other parts of the West drew prospectors and investors away, leaving Tombstone to face an uncertain future. In 1886, a devastating fire swept through Tombstone, destroying much of the business district. While the town rebuilt, it never fully recovered its former glory. The decline of the mines, coupled with a series of droughts and a national economic downturn, took a heavy toll. The population dwindled, businesses closed, and the once bustling streets fell silent. Today, Tombstone stands as a testament to the boom and bust cycles that shaped the American West. Preserved as a National Historic Landmark, it offers visitors a glimpse into a bygone era, a time when the West was wild, fortunes were won and lost on a whim, and life was lived on the edge of a knife. Perched precariously on the slopes of Cleopatra Hill, overlooking the Verde Valley, Jerome is a town that seems to defy gravity as much as it does the passage of time. Unlike many of Arizona's ghost towns, Jerome was not destined to fade into obscurity. Instead, it underwent a remarkable transformation, from a rough-and-tumble mining town to a thriving artist colony and tourist destination. Jerome's story began in the late 19th century with the discovery of copper in the surrounding mountains. Miners flocked to this rugged corner of Arizona, transforming a desolate landscape into a bustling mining town. The United Verde Copper Company, under the leadership of mining magnate William A. Clark, established a massive open-pit mine. Jerome, perched precariously above the mine, grew at a dizzying pace. Buildings, some made of brick and stone, others of wood and corrugated metal, were shoehorned onto the steep slopes. The town, with its saloons, brothels, and gambling dens, gained a reputation for being as wild as the surrounding landscape. By the 1950s, the mine had closed, and Jerome's population had dwindled to a mere handful of residents. In the vast expanse of the Mojave Desert lies Gold Road, a ghost town that embodies the ephemeral nature of fortune and the enduring allure of gold. Born in a frenzy of excitement in the early 20th century, Gold Road rose from the desert sands with the promise of riches. The story of Gold Road began in 1902, when gold was discovered in the nearby hills. Prospectors converged on this remote corner of Arizona, eager to stake their claim to the golden bounty. A tent city materialized practically overnight, its canvas walls offering meager protection from the scorching sun and the biting wind. News of the gold strike spread like wildfire, drawing fortune seekers, businessmen, and dreamers from across the country. The tent city, christened Gold Road, quickly gave way to more permanent structures. Wooden buildings, hastily constructed, lined the dusty streets. Saloons did a brisk business, offering weary travelers and thirsty miners a potent mix of whiskey, gambling, and companionship. The Gold Road Mining Company wasted no time in sinking shafts and extracting the precious ore. However, the gold that had lured so many proved to be as elusive as it was alluring. Stepping into an Arizona ghost town is like stepping into a time capsule. The silence is the first thing that strikes you, a silence so profound it almost hums in your ears. Gone is the clang of pickaxes against rock, the boisterous laughter spilling from saloons, the rumble of wagon wheels on dusty streets. In their place is the whisper of the wind, the rustle of lizards darting among the ruins, the occasional cry of a hawk circling overhead. The buildings themselves stand as silent sentinels, their weathered facades bearing witness to the passage of time. Windows, long since emptied of their glass, gaze out blankly like the eyes of forgotten giants. Doorways, some hanging precariously from rusted hinges, beckon you to step inside and imagine the lives that once unfolded within. You might find yourself tracing the outline of a faded sign, its lettering barely discernible beneath layers of peeling paint. Each brick, each beam, each rusty nail whispers a story of dreams pursued, of triumphs celebrated, of losses mourned. The Arizona desert, unforgiving and relentless, was both a harsh mistress and a constant companion to the boom towns that rose and fell within its embrace. The sun bleaches the wood to a silvery gray, its heat warping boards and widening cracks, turning once sturdy structures into fragile skeletons. The wind whistles through broken windows and gaps in walls, carrying fine grains of sand that slowly erode the sharp edges of buildings. Plants find footholds in the unlikeliest of places. Cacti sprout from rooftops, hardy shrubs push through cracks in foundations, and wildflowers carpet the ground in a riot of color each spring. Animals too, drawn by the shelter and the silence, make their homes among the ruins. Lizards bask on sun-warmed rocks, their scales shimmering like jewels. And at night, under a canopy of stars, coyotes howl their lonely serenade. The fate of Arizona's ghost towns has unfolded in diverse ways. Some, ravaged by time and neglect, have surrendered entirely to the elements. Others have found a second life, not as bustling centers of commerce but as poignant reminders of a bygone era. The decision to preserve a ghost town is a complex one, often driven by a combination of historical significance and economic potential. Local communities have rallied together to save these fading treasures from oblivion. They've painstakingly restored crumbling buildings, reinforced sagging roofs, and cleared away years of accumulated debris. Some buildings are restored to their former glory, complete with period furnishings and artifacts. Other structures are left in a state of arrested decay, their weathered facades and crumbling walls left untouched. The true magic of Arizona's ghost towns lies not just in their weathered buildings and dusty artifacts, but in the stories they tell. These stories, etched into the very fabric of these abandoned places, are as diverse as the people who lived and worked within their boundaries. As you wander through the silent streets, imagination takes flight, peopling the empty spaces with the ghosts of prospectors and shopkeepers. You might find yourself standing in the doorway of an abandoned saloon, imagining the raucous laughter that once filled the room. These stories, passed down through generations, bring the past to life, allowing us to connect with the hopes and dreams of those who came before us. Standing amidst the ruins of an Arizona ghost town, it's impossible not to be moved by the sheer audacity of it all. These were places built on dreams, fueled by ambition, and sustained by a remarkable resilience. The people who carved these settlements from the unforgiving desert were a hardy breed, driven by a potent mix of hope and desperation. These ghost towns, in their silence and decay, offer us more than just a glimpse into the past. They serve as powerful reminders of the enduring human spirit, the capacity for innovation and adaptation. As we explore these abandoned places, we're not just tourists gawking at crumbling buildings, we're time travelers, journeying back to an era when the West was wild, when fortunes were made and lost on a whim. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange, purple, and fiery red. The wind whispers through the deserted streets of a ghost town, its voice echoing off the weathered wooden buildings. Arizona's ghost towns are more than just abandoned places, more than crumbling relics of a bygone era. They are open-air museums, offering tangible links to the past, inviting us to step back in time and experience the spirit of the Wild West. These ghost towns beckon to be explored, their secrets waiting to be uncovered, their stories yearning to be told. So, pack your sense of adventure, grab your camera, and set off on a journey through time. Follow the dusty trails to these forgotten corners of Arizona, and let your imagination soar as you wander through silent streets. Feel the weight of history beneath your feet, sense the presence of those who came before, and let their stories ignite your own sense of wonder and possibility. As you leave the ghost town behind, the sun sinking below the horizon, you carry with you more than just memories and photographs. You carry a renewed appreciation for the resilience of the human spirit, a deeper understanding of the forces that have shaped the American West. The allure of ghost towns lies not in their decay, but in their ability to transport us to another time and place. They offer a glimpse into a world that has vanished, a world where life was often harsh but also full of adventure and opportunity. The journey through Arizona's ghost towns doesn't end here. It continues in the stories we tell, the photographs we share, and the memories we carry in our hearts. So, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the spirit of adventure alive within you.